Go live. It looks like the broadcast was deleted from Facebook stream. Create a new broadcast. Uh-oh, I gotta create a new one. Edit. Why was it deleted? Facebook deleted it. Let me see something. All right, guys, so what's going on? So, Brandon, I want to thank you for coming over and joining us today. By the way, Brandon, congratulations on your book. I know you hit bestseller. Is that correct?
Yes. It went to number 5 on Amazon. I'm very ecstatic and happy about the outcome that Michael and his team has done for me.
That's great. And Brandon, I'm going to have you and Michael talk a little bit. So I'm going to remove my...
I guess he got removed.
Okay.
You got some questions for him, am I right, Michael?
Yeah, well, we can handle it. Brandon, I'm real excited that you're one of our publishing company's authors, but not only did we make number 5 in the U.S., we made both the Great Britain and the Canada lists too. So that means you're an international best-selling author.
Oh, outstanding.
Which, for a specialty American history book, is pretty darn impressive.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah. Tell me, what encouraged you to start writing a book, Brandon?
Mike, really, it was when I was teaching high school, public high school. It seems like each year the syllabus and the curriculum would all be the same. I don't care if it was 9th grade, 10th grade, if you wanted to call it American History 1, 2, it was all the same. So I started interjecting things that the students had never seen before. And I found out it held their attention more. Even their parents and guardians were happy because they were coming home, talking and challenging them on some things that they've seen or may have seen in their history books. So that's what gave me the insight to start saying, okay, well, might be something to this. So let's start doing it a little bit more.
Yeah, anybody that can get enthusiasm out of teenage kids is an amazing teacher. And I know that you've moved on now and that you teach at the professional level all over the country. But it's great that you took the time to build this tool. And I don't think it's too early to announce that you and I are working on 3 more books right behind this first one. And we hope to launch a book every 90 days. I spent the day yesterday with your marketing team, some sharp people you got out there with you.
Thank you.
I'm hoping that we can make you a bestseller every 90 days for 1 year, maybe more.
Okay, well, from the results so far and the way we've worked and led up to everything with you and your team, I can't see why we can't. I tell you, I'm looking forward to it.
That's great. Could you tell everybody how many hours of research you put into the book? Now, remember, not all 4 books. I just want to know for the 1 book.
For the 1 book, I would say, because I do have a day job, about 3 hours a day doing the actual research and confirming to make sure that the information, as best of my ability, would be correct.
For how many days?
Well, it's called American Champion 365. Each day, based on that day, I try to find something in history that no one knows anything about, so they can go research it on their own, or find a little tidbit of someone that you thought you knew something about, but I guarantee you didn't know this. So really, for about a year, Michael, it took me opportunity to do it.
Yeah, over 1,000 hours. That's a lot of time. But I got to say, the stories that I read were fascinating. I mean, you're right. I would say 80 or 90% of the people in this book that were amazing people never made it into a standard history book. And that's a shame because, as I said, they were all very interesting stories. I think the idea you came up with to do that is kind of unique in the educational area. There's not a lot of differential and a lot of innovation in teaching the kids. And I really think if the teachers use your book, they're going to have some very interested students and some fantastic discussions in class. Having said that, the book is also available on Amazon, both electronically and in print. Would you consider speaking at, say, a high school about the book, and maybe bringing a few copies to give away? And that would that be something that the boards of education or principals or history teachers could reach out to you for?
Yes, they can. And to be one step ahead of you, I've already tested it in the North Georgia or Metro Atlanta area, where they bring me in either for Black History Month, or I just say, give me all of the people that you feel cannot pay attention for 40 minutes because they think it's boring. And I guarantee you, I will keep them involved and you'll get a little bit out of it. Richie and Mike, I know you folks know, but there's something out there called Neuro Linguistic Programming and exact science, but public teachers don't teach that way. And for people who may be watching this and don't understand what I mean, the short and skinny, people learn differently. Either they're visual, they're auditory, they're kinesthetic, touchy-feely, or a combination. That's what I do when I introduce this new information, when I go to the schools. And each time I'm finished, the department chair, the principal said, hey, do you have a book? Can you come back? So yes, I'd be glad to do it more, Mike.
Let me just bring this up. Brandon knows me a long time. So Brandon's been like my coach and all that, and he's helped me throughout the years a lot, right? He's been to my home and everything. I'm going to say this. Brandon has always taught me, because Brandon knows that I have dyslexia, right? So he's always put that process in. And when he talks to me, I'm able to grasp it more than I would be in a classroom environment, how he communicates with me. And that's why I'm a lot more productive with Brandon probably than anybody else in my team, because of that knowledge that he's got. Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, I also, you're very verbal in the way you learn because of the dyslexia. I'm more kinetic, so I really like to hold a paper book in my hands. You would think it's old school, but believe it or not, the biggest growth in printed book purchases right now are millennials. It's they stare at a screen all day long, and when they want to relax or learn something, they crack open a book. I mean, I know everybody thought books were going to go away and all that. They've been here for 300-400 years. They're not going anywhere. So the fact that you give them all three modalities is awesome. And neurolinguistics, actually, I learned it in 1977.
Okay.
But from the two guys that created it, and it was originally created to help teach autistic children how to communicate. So that's how powerful what you use is it's excellent for breaking through to autistic kids. So you can imagine how powerful it is with our children or with adults. And I highly recommend that someone that hasn't seen a presentation that uses that like yours does to try and catch one of your speeches. And I wanted to mention that if educators will reach out and follow you, you kind of post your schedule when you travel all over the country when that starts again. And it's a lot easier for you to say yes to showing up to speak at a school if you're already going to be in, Chicago or New York or wherever your business happens to take you. I know you love to spend a little time in the school if you can. I guess being a school teacher never goes away, which is awesome. But what's the best way for educators to reach out and get into your world, your social media? How would you like them to contact you?
Okay, there's two easy ways. They can go to a website called www.americanchampion365.com, or they can go to Brandon Hardison CPO5. That's Charlie Orange Potato 5, the number 5.com. So Brandon Hardison CPO.com, or they can get me at www.americanchampion365.com.
Okay, and they can go look at your American Champion site, and there's a way for them to connect there so that they can keep track of your travel schedule. Because I know you try to charge as little as possible for educational speeches, and that makes it a lot easier if they do it with your business schedule. And I assume that you also have the technology that if a teacher wants you to Zoom into their meeting with their students, that you're more than capable of showing up. You know, I mean, not very often that you have a guest teacher come in, particularly with the shutdown right now.
Correct.
So,
and we have done that since we've had this virus hit our country. We've done a few things with some teachers as far away as Birmingham, Alabama. And we also have some students that take some of the people that we talk about, and during their morning announcements, their students read a short portion of it to let the school know it's a little bit different. So we try to help out any way we can.
and that's fantastic. It really is. If you don't mind, I'd like to just briefly mention that I know you're the director of a national charity to help educate veterans for work. Could you just briefly touch on what you're doing there and tell us a little bit about that nonprofit?
Okay, well, with that, I'm going to need Richie's help, because he's the one who put in the hours and efforts to get it started, especially going to Washington and then getting everything set up out in the West Coast with that. But what it is that in the industry, the vertical of automotive, we have so many people retiring with those technical skills, whether it is being a technician, whether it's being a body repair person, or whether it's being someone who paints, spray paints. We don't have youngsters to fill many of these positions. So Richie found it upon himself. I don't know how many years back, but I'll let you take it here from Richie, because you're the one that got it started.
Well, in 2016, I went to Arizona, and I was in the process of getting a building with the own highs, right? So we got a building. So we all said this would be a good idea for vets if we can educate vets in the automotive sector and bring them to dealerships, right? So that was what we thought. We tried getting the grants. We tried everything. So you know what? It didn't work. So then from there, we took it as, you know what? Let's get self-funded. So between the own highs that they own Look Smart, Clickable, and myself, I reach out to vendors and all that. Right now, I'm self-funded, where I can put any vet to learn on the platform, you know, because I'm already self-funded. Problem that I have because of this coronavirus, I was set up already to do 2 career nights, one at the beach club, right, and one in Windows on the Lake, and bang, this thing comes out. I had all the content, I had all the artwork, I had people working all the time. Cost me a lot of money, so I had it set up where Brandon was going to fly out. He was going to come to the beach club, and I was going to take care of my market first. That being said, so when I went to Florida, I was going to rent another venue there with the same thing. That being said, Florida's right next to Georgia, so I was going to do the same thing in Georgia, and I was going to be traveling, but the whole thing got shut down. I mean, the last thing I heard about the catering, about the halls, is you can't. It's shut down basically to the end of the summer. So now I got this money there that I could use, and I also have all this investment I did on the art, but that's okay. But that's what happened. The program was supposed to be alive and well right now. I set it up for this season. I got all the training videos Brandon did. I got everything. But I found out that I need 4 workshops a week. So I already put a schedule together from Monday through Thursday to have workshops. And I got approved, I got everything done already. So I'm just waiting for this thing to be over. And then since I'm going to Florida, Brandon's got a friend that he wants to bring in as a director out here, because I'm not going to play around with this. I got to go,
Yeah. Yeah, I think one thing that you're a little hesitant to talk about is the fact that literally the car dealers are clamoring for skilled workers. Unlike a lot of training programs that are there more for the trainers to profit, this is a nonprofit. It's there solely to put veterans to work. And the amazing thing is, in this industry, if you're a mechanic, if you're a paint guy, if you're a body man, those are extremely high paying and steady positions. And, same way with the car salesman. If you get out there and you're well trained and you hustle, it's not unusual for a first year car salesman to break 6 figures if he does what he's told. So I just want to really stress, I'm excited. I've got several veteran friends that, have taken other training in the past and, got government grants for it and all that other happy horse shit, and
Sure.
then couldn't put the skill to work.
Correct.
That's what amazed me is when you guys showed me literally the dealers are putting up a lot of money to fund this nonprofit because they want skilled labor. And man, if there's a veteran out there that wants, these aren't jobs. Once you're trained, these are careers. That's the big difference.
If I can just say one thing, just speaking from down here in Georgia, and Richie said he's used some of the video, going to the veterans, speaking to the hierarchy, letting them know that, hey, they've worked on a Huey, they can work on a vehicle.
That's for sure.
We will give you the tools. You get through the training. Once you pass the certification from whatever particular manufacturer, because Porsche is different than General Motors,
Right.
But once you pass the certification and you're in that store, the tools are yours. And we continually train them, and the object is career pathing. So they can find a way to continue to move up in the industry if they want to, i.e. service manager, i.e. parts manager, or like you said on the front end, let me be a sales manager. Let me ultimately see if I can be a general manager. But yes, we are trying to do this, Richie and myself, but he did tell you that the coronavirus did hit us, so we have to wait a second. Unless you got a magic wand. Richie.
No, but all those cars out there still need the work done to them, so there's still a lot of jobs available. And if there's one thing I know for certain, Americans are not going to stop driving.
Got that right.
It just they may not be driving now, but I measure. I've got a little Volkswagen convertible, and I'm measuring my gas mileage on weeks per gallon now.
That's a good one. I like that.
Yeah, it's. Is there anything else on the book that you'd like to get out while we have this big audience?
What I can say, which you and Richie already know, this is just, like I said, the first series. We got some other ones coming. But to help out some of the other folks, we do have audio coming. And then we also have a short video explaining. So this way, if a teacher is pressed for time, because they only have 40 minutes to work with, but they still want to introduce something new, they can quickly just play a short little video, or they can have the audio and maybe have kids research more. But we're trying to be flexible on how we present something.
Well, and I want to mention that obviously the budgets are tight for education right now. They're always tight for education.
Yes.
But if a school picks up a supply of books from you for, say, one class, I know you and I have discussed actually donating the electronic version of those books so that the kids can take the electronic version home and the textbook is there for all the classes. But I think that's an awesome thing that you're doing. And it just shows that, this is a passion. This isn't for money. This is to help kids. And as a publisher, we're excited to be working hand in hand with you to do that.
Appreciate it, Mike.
Richie, was there anything else you wanted to ask?
Yeah, what I wanted to say
while we're here?
I've been following Brandon for quite some time on this book thing, right? And one of the things that I like about what Brandon's doing, it's history. It's really, really in black and white. It's history, okay? That's what it is. And this history, the new generation, I think, has to know about it. And this is very important history. On his Facebook, he posts that. I share it every day. Brandon knows, I usually get up at 5 in the morning, 5:30. I probably don't sleep, but that's the time that I go to Facebook. And I wish everybody a happy birthday and all that. But then what I really do is I go to his wall and see it, because everybody knows that Facebook's changed their numbers, how you get the news feed, right? And I know at 5:30 in the morning, Brandon already posted it. But I don't get it in my news feed. So I make sure I go to his wall and share it, because I share a lot on Facebook. I don't know if anybody noticed, but every time I see something that I think that needs to be out there, I share it all the time. Car guys I share, the different marketing guys I share. I'm always sharing. Why? Because sharing on your wall, it's going to hit my audience, okay? And if it's content that's really good content, I want my audience to know. I'll be doing injustice if I don't share that content, right? So I'm very big on the shares. And Brandon has a way of writing very, very well and really, really explaining to you, because let's face it, content is content, right? It's about the delivery of the content. Well, guess what? That's what Brandon's mastered his whole life, the delivery of the content. Because let's face it, content is content, okay? Now, you could have the best content out there. If you don't have a good delivery, you're done, okay? So it's not about content. And the other thing I always say is content is King Kong. Distribution is King Kong. So if you have great content and it's not distributed out, there's no good, right? So both things work together. And I think this book is a lot. I mean, this book's really giving out information to people that should know. And people are into that. I've always been into history, because history is something you can learn from.
I have always thought I was into history and that I was well educated, both in high school and in the few college classes I took. But I got to tell you, Richie, 80 or 90% of the stuff in his book I had never heard of. I mean, right. It was all factual, but it was things that, because of the way the country was at the time, a lot of these heroes were left out of the history books. Yeah, and right. I find it fascinating. And I would say that, if you read just one story a day, like he built the system for, it gives you something to think about all day long. And, it also, when people talk about, the generation at the turn of the century, the generation for World War I and World War II, a lot of the facts that Brandon puts out are the reasons why Americans were and are the way we are. And I think it's our job to pass all that history on to kids. And this is true history. It's not, there's no fluff in there. Everything he writes about actually happened. And like you said, he writes it at a level that's fun to read. There's no big words in there and footnotes and all this crap to make somebody show you how smart the writer is. His full intent when he wrote was to make it as easy as possible for children to learn from it. And
Where,
it makes it
where
easy to know.
the average person, could read it. The high education person can also read it, and it makes it's very easy. But really, he's hitting a market for the people that don't know, because maybe they don't read. I don't read it, but I have people that read it for me. Because if I would read it, I'd take 5 hours to write. So I have people around me that read it, and I enjoy it. I get read that content on his Facebook all the time at 10:30. I get it read to me, and you know what? I find it very interesting.
Richie, I'm sure that we're so close technologically of computers being able to read a book to you that's not going to be an issue anymore. And as the profits come in from the book, he's going to put them right back into creating audio books. And, he understands all the different modalities like we talked about earlier. So I don't know exactly when, but there are audio history books. This is too good to only deliver in one format. So
you're right, Mike. It is coming. I was talking to a principal today, and they're looking into something that will meet the standards of Georgia. And that's one other thing I need to say. If there is any educator out there, all of my material does meet the standards. And I found out that Georgia standards are coincidable with 48 other states. There's only a couple that they're not. So I'm not going to mention the names, but I'm glad that our product that we have out there could be used pretty much for any district that's out there.
Yeah, and that's really where you can affect the most good, is at the district level, where you can talk to the decision makers there and reach every kid in the district. Although, as I've seen before, you're happy to work as granular as the teacher level. But obviously, this all the kids need to hear this. So anybody out there that can help our mission to spread this to every child in the country, if you can't get a hold of Brandon, give me a buzz. Give Richie a buzz. We'll get you in contact with him. He is a very high demand speaker, but he always makes time for the kids.
Appreciate it, Mike.
And get this book. I mean, anybody that has it, congratulations. You're going to learn something tremendously that you might not even know about history that was there. It's going to change your perception. It's gonna inform you today at what's really going on, because Brandon, talk about somebody that does research, he's unbelievable.
Yeah.
In my younger years, I worked for a company that had a big research department. And there was a lady there, Lori, and she did tremendous research. That's what she did. It was about data and all that. And I mean, there's nobody that does research like Brandon. Brandon actually does the research and puts it on there in his own words. So he writes the content. Okay. So, I mean, this guy has been writing content for a long time. This guy wrote a lot of content for me in the beginning of my years when I started out with Richie Bello blogs. I just want everybody to know that Brandon wrote a lot of content for me, a lot of sales content. So today he posts it on my wall, which I appreciate it every day, and I share it. I'm so much grateful to Brandon, because I'm not a content writer, obviously, right? So with him, it's great.
Well, but you are a great talker. I mean, I don't know if it's too early to announce, but Richie's new book that I'm writing with him is I actually got a Galley copy back today to do the final editing. So we're excited about that. But we're coming up on the hour. Brandon, would you please repeat how the educators and parents can reach out to you one more time?
Sure, Mike. Once again, they can go to www.americanchampion365.com, or they can reach me at Brandon Hardison, CPO, the number 5.com.
Great. And they can also reach out to brandedexpert.press, because we are happy to put you in contact with our authors. particularly the really good ones like Brandon. So that's brandedexpert.press. Just let us know that you want information on Brandon and or his books, and my people will take care of you.
And Brandon, let me tell you something. Congratulations. I'm so happy you pushed out that book. Again, congratulations. I knew it was going to happen. I mean, the content is great. You're great at it. I mean, you're unbelievable. And I just got to say, God bless you guys and God bless America, Brandon. And any other words you guys got to say?
Be healthy, be safe. God bless America.
Ditto. Thank you for the opportunity, Richie.